Hi there, I'm Michaela, the On-Farm Network Research Assistant. In this video, I'm going to go over our trial results for the two PC treatment trials we ran in 2023. Before getting into the trials, I will go over a quick introduction on the disease and insect pest targets of the PC treatments. For disease targets, we are mainly looking to manage the root rot complex caused by Aphanomyces and Fusarium root rots. Aphanomyces root rot can be the most devastating disease to a pea field if soil conditions are on the warm and saturated side. And although Fusarium root rots can be detected in essentially every field at any given time, once Aphanomyces root rot co-infects with Fusarium, the infection of the root becomes much more severe and is more devastating than either Aphanomyces or Fusarium on its own. In terms of insect targets, the main one for peas right now is the pea leaf weevil. Pea leaf weevils are a fairly new pest to Manitoba, with their numbers highest in the northwest region, but numbers steadily spreading towards the eastern region every growing season. So in the spring, you'll see the adult weevils feeding on the plant leaves, creating the characteristic leaf notching you can see in that picture here. It basically looks like he's been taking great big chomps out of the leaf. And surprisingly, this leaf consumption is not what causes the yield loss. It is actually the weevil larvae which have burrowed underground and eat the root nodules that have a negative effect. Basically, once the nodules are eaten, the pea plants cannot fix their own nitrogen. As the main focus of these seed treatments is to paralyze the adult weevils, damage by the larval stage is not eliminated entirely. So it is not yet clear whether you'll get a return on investment when using the insecticidal seed treatment. That brings us to our on-farm trials. Farmers have very few tools to estimate the risk from soil-borne pests. Seed treatments are frequently applied on a just-in-case basis with little knowledge of the risk soil-borne pests actually pose to a given crop in a given field. Informing this decision a bit more would be a positive step forwards. So these on-farm trials aim to quantify the agronomic and economic impacts of seed treatments in soybeans. In field peas. Will we see an improvement in plant establishment and a yield increase with seed treatment? And with that, now we will chat about results from the 2023 PC treatment trials. So in 2023, we had two trials that compared the use of treated seed versus untreated seed. As you can see here on the map, we had one in the north and another in the south central Manitoba. Seed treatments tested this year included Rancona Trio with imidacloprid insecticide, and Trilix Evergol. At both trials in 2023, we had May rainfalls less than 50% of normal, so it was fairly dry up there. Before we get into the data collection results, we evaluated early season plant stands in these trials to see if there was a difference in establishment between treated and untreated peas. Plant counts were taken at V1, where 10 feet of 2 rows were counted in each plot, with 2 stops in each plot. Here are the differences in plant stands between treatments for each trial. You can see that in PC treatment 01, the plant stands were fairly consistent. The highest plant stand was seen in the Rancona Trio Plus insecticide treatment, and the lowest was seen in the Trilix Evergol treated plots. For PC treatment 02, there was an increase of 15,000 plants per acre with the treated seed versus untreated seed. We also evaluated disease and insect pressure at these trials. Here we have the data collected from PC treatment 01. Regarding root rot response to the fungicidal seed treatments, 10 to 20% fewer plants were infected with root rots when treated with the seed treatments. Although overall the presence of root rot was very low. So if you remember the precipitation chart we saw earlier, well, that will have a role to play in the root rot incidence and severity. And as this trial was very dry in May, with only 18% of normal rainfall, the risk of root rot development was very low regardless. When we looked at the pea leaf weevil predation, we saw no difference in total number of those notches per plant between treated and untreated plots. We also looked at nodule predation at this trial, And we did see that the insecticide-treated plots had more nodules, but once the stats were run on the data, we determined that there was no significant difference between treated and untreated plots. Okay, here is the disease pressure data from PC treatment 02. Here, 13% fewer plants were infected with root rot when treated with Rancona Trio. Again, this trial was very dry in May, with only 48% of normal rainfall, so the risk of root rot development was low overall, and thus the severity of infection was very low. And now the yield results. At both trials this year, we saw no significant yield differences with treated and untreated peas. Because of this, there was a loss in profit amounting to the cost of product. So for Rancona Trio, it was a loss of $14 to $17 an acre. For Rancona Trio plus insecticide, there was a loss of about $27 an acre. And for Trilix Evergol, there was a loss of profit of around $11 an acre. So in summary, we saw no change in yield in 2023 between treated pea seeds versus untreated pea seed. However, fewer plants were infected with root rot when comparing treated to untreated peas. So to make informed seed treatment decisions on your farm, evaluate the risk of specific insect and disease pests on a field by field basis. Is there a history of root rots or pea leaf weevil in a field? Are you seeding into more saturated soils with high May rainfall forecasted? And how often are peas growing in this field? With that, if you're interested in learning more about these results, every trial result is available on the On-Farm Network database available at manitobapulse.ca or by following the QR code on your screen. If you're interested in participating in a trial, please contact Chris, the On-Farm Network agronomist. Thanks for listening today. I've been Michaela, the On-Farm Network Research Assistant. You can find more about our trials on our website or by following us on social media.